seem to be there. And I started thinking about what are the top 10 things people are afraid of. Now, if I gave you a chance, we took a poll and we would say, hey, just shout out different things, we would hit these 10 things. Because they're all things that we're afraid of. Number 10, thunder and lightning. Especially in the middle of the night, the lights go out, just sit there and listen to thunder and lightning. We've been many a time that our 4-year-old or 2-year-old have woken us up because of the thunder and the lightning. Number 9, I'm surprised this made the list, but dogs. Maybe because you never know the temperament of a dog, if it's a nice dog, if it's a mean dog. I guess I've never been bit by a dog. If I've ever been bit by a dog, I'm sure I would be afraid of them. Some of the things on the list, I think, are more of just the anxiety that comes along with it. Flying. Number 8 is flying. If you look at it logically, there are more car accidents than there ever is in an airplane. I don't remember the last plane accident, but all it takes is for one plane to go down for everybody to go, see, that's the reason we don't fly. If we were supposed to fly, God would give us wings. Flying's number 8. Number 7, mice. I'm surprised that made the list. I mean, they're like this big. But you see a mouse in your house, and what happens? You jump up on the chair and you scream like a little girl. I don't know if it's the anxiety of thinking there are these little things living in my house. Number 6, needles. Yeah, go and get a shot. Even the thought of you have to go to the doctor to maybe get a shot. Needles. Number 5, which is even more terrifying than a mouse, is a spider. Right? We were driving in the car last night and Amanda starts screaming, what's wrong? I see a spider, it's on me, I know it. Number 4, the dark. Why do things make creaks and groans and weird noises in the dark? We can't see it, right? So we're afraid of the dark. Number 3, heights. People are afraid of heights. And to really feed off that fear, go to what formerly was the Sears Tower, if you guys have been there, and they now have the little lookout. So if you're not afraid anyway, you can go into the lookout and have a glass floor. Imagine you're falling. Number 2, what I'm doing right now, speaking in public. Some people, when they would have to speak in public, they just get terrified. The heart starts to do the palpitation. You get the dry mouth, quick breath, your pupils get dilated, the hair stands up in public. Every Sunday, that's kind of how I feel. And number 1, if Indiana Jones is afraid of it, you should too. Snakes, right? They are creepy, crawly, nasty. If you have one in your house, I'm never going to come see you. Snakes. Right? And we look through this and you say, you know what? Yeah, at one point or currently, I am afraid of those things. They may not hurt me, a mouse or a spider. It's a psychological thing. Speaking in public, everybody's looking at you and you don't know if you're going to mess up. You just grab a hold and you just make your way through. There's phobias. Just for fun, Google phobia of long words. There's a phobia. People are afraid of long words. Here's the interesting thing when you do this. You will get a 26-letter word for phobia of fear of long words. You know somebody was having fun with that. Maybe you suffer from coulrophobia, fear of clowns. Or peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. That's an easy one. If you have fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth, don't eat peanut butter. Don't eat peanut butter. I love this one. Trichotillomania, fear of the number 13. It's kind of a superstition thing, right? Friday the 13th, bad things happen. My favorite thing is to be on an elevator and you're staying on the 14th floor. Because you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 14th. And if somebody suffers from trichotillomania, I want to have a talk with them to say, you know, you're not really staying on the 14th floor. The 14th floor is really the 13th floor. They just number 12 and 14, so psychologically you don't think you're staying on the 13th floor, but you really are. Woo! Because there's nothing really to worry about. 13. Maybe you're the person that says, you know what, Ben, those top 10 things, clowns, peanut butter, 13, I'm afraid of all of that. There's a phobia for that. It's called panphobia, the fear of everything. You know what I'm talking about when we go to haunted houses. That's the goal, is to get your heart palpitating and your pupils dilating and rapid breath. And it's a chemical reaction. God has designed us to experience fear. Your body is preparing with this chemical reaction for one of two things. It's the idea of fight. You know what? If there's this little bitty mouse and my wife is on the chair screaming, I'm going to save the day. Right? We're ready to have that fight mentality. That if I'm afraid of public speaking, every Sunday you're sitting here expecting a message. You better buck up, boy, and just figure out how to do it. And that chemical reaction is making me be better than I would have been before the fear. If it's snakes, if there's a room full of snakes and you have to get out, it's a good thing that your pupils are dilated if the lighting is dark. When your blood is flowing faster, it's because your adrenaline is kicking in, so you can run faster than the snakes can slither towards you. That's not the fight mentality, that's the flight mentality. I'm going to get out of there as quickly as possible to save my life. And God has uniquely designed us for fight or flight. Now, when it comes to fear, if you want to fight everything, at some point you're going to expend all of your energy. You can't fight everything. But at the same time, you can't be afraid of everything and run from everything. Could you imagine if every Sunday after you have voted me in to be your senior pastor, you find out, Ben has a fear of public speaking. He's been here 8 weeks, and he still hasn't showed up on a Sunday morning. Probably wouldn't be a senior pastor very long, right? So it kind of comes and goes. It ebbs and flows. Times we fight, and sometimes we flight. But how does fear coincide with the Bible? Many people will say, okay, hey, I got this one, Ben, because the Bible tells us to fear not. 365 times it says fear not. There's 365 days in the year, not counting leap year. So God does not want us to fear. He does not want us to be afraid. Really? I mean, I guess it's true the angels show up many times, and when the people see the angels, they're quaking like dead men, and the angels have to say to them, don't be afraid, fear not. But what about these verses of Scripture? Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Wait a second. We're back to the fear not. Don't be afraid. 365 days in a year. But Proverbs 1:7 says, fear in God, because I would think that where there's fear, there is no God. And where there's God, there is no fear. But now Proverbs 1:7 says that there's this unique joining of fearing God and wisdom. Psalms 1:10, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, and all who follow his precepts have great understanding. Proverbs 9:10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding.